So good morning and welcome to Soulfood Top Up. I don't have my cup of coffee this morning, I've already had it. I just really wanted to say a few words today, and I've actually put some content up with regards to what I wanted to talk about that has just really just been highlighted. I'll just put a bit of sun in the screen. So I just want to thank people that have been sharing this post or sharing my posts. I had a couple of people that didn't approve my posts on their wall this week, which was really interesting because I'm just I'm amazed really at how we police so much things, and so I think I'm gonna have a bit of a rant about that today. It's not a rant really, it's just an observation. So one lady had said that she was a bit felt uncomfortable about posting my post because she felt that I was teaching people or teaching in my message, and that I wasn't necessarily asking a question from the group, or it was that I was teaching. And it's really interesting because it highlights that when I was growing up, that I was kind of like told that I wasn't going to make much out of myself, that I was probably a bit too sensitive to go out there and get what I want, or to get what I need to be doing. And so it kind of took me back to that time really, by highlighting that here I am doing these live videos. Sometimes people Facebook's algorithms doesn't want to show my posts for whatever reason, which is okay. So sometimes even friends don't get my messages that I send, or they don't get that I'm on live, which is, again, perfectly okay. It highlights something of whatever that is. And I really do thank those people that have commented, that have added me as a friend as a result of something that I've said that's resonated with them. And in a way, the purpose of me doing these posts are really to step up out of my comfort zone, to challenge myself in terms of my emotional intelligence, in terms of how do I interpret what's going on, what I'm feeling inside, how do I translate that into the head in order to be able to reach out and just to let somebody know that they've got a heart hug, or hi, whoever's joined me this morning. Arandale, Dale, how are you? So yes, it's so important to have these conversations. It's so important to step up into speaking from the heart. And so what saddened me, I think, about posts not being approved, and I know it's lovely, people put the reasons why underneath, either it's not original content, which again, I'm not fully sure of the terminologies here on Facebook really, but I think they're okay if I go in there and just post a post live, but they're not happy about me sharing a post that I've already done somewhere else. But for me, it's easy if you just do it in one place, which is anti-Benton, and then sign it into other posts that might be useful for their group. So that's the reasons why I post in other people's groups, is to reach out to people, because my content is very different. And if I'm classed as a teacher, we're all teachers. So surely we should all be sharing our truth, our wisdom, our voices, just because we feel like we've got something to say, or we have got something to say. And if we're speaking clearly, we've got something to say. So I'm just rambling a little bit there, but I really wanted to address that. I really wanted to then focus and thank those people that have shared this post and have approved it. There's some people that just approve it immediately, and it's great when you see that. And I know that's probably stroking ego, but I think it's about the ego, the spiritual ego. It's about, for me, how do we question that? How do we question what our actions and what our motives are? For me, my motives are to reach people who maybe were like me, who were kind of knew that things weren't quite right, but didn't have a pathway or an avenue to go down to explore without being judged. So if that's you and you're resonating and you're seeing this video, however you're seeing it, then know that you're not on your own, and know that you can reach out and you can add and you can watch my videos and you can join in with the work that we're doing, which is about really helping people to raise their emotional intelligence. So that's what I put on there. What is emotional intelligence and what is upgrading? And so it's kind of like when you're leading, if you have a Facebook group, you're not necessarily a leader. Let's put it that way. If you've got a group, you've set up a Facebook group and you've got thousands of people that are viewing or following, it doesn't necessarily make you a leader. You're leading in terms of maybe putting your voice out there and allowing people to come in and to um, to be involved. But in actual fact, how involved are people in Facebook groups? Hi, thank you for joining me this morning. I think I recognise that. Oh no, don't you, Jane? Hi, thank you for joining me. I'm just having a bit of a rant here about Facebook groups. Not majorly, because that's not what I want to take the focus away from what we're here to be talking about. But when people are in Facebook groups, as an example, many people think that by ticking like or loving a post, that that's enough, but it isn't. It doesn't satisfy the soul. And I think we're here to satisfy our souls. We're here to raise our consciousness of what we don't like into exploring and developing things that we do like. So many times when we have experiences of, not really, thank you for the like, just talking about likes and loving. So many times when we're here and we're not happy, we're kind of like feeling dissatisfied about something, that is our soul saying, what are you going to do about it? What choices are you going to make to bring about change in that area? That's what this life's about. So if there is something in your life that you are not happy with at this moment in time, then do something about it. And I'm not saying that in a bossy way. I'm just saying that's your soul's calling. Your soul is saying, right, how are you going to change it? And then when you think about that as yourself, if you can think about the number 8 and it's got two zeros, if you will, that come together. So if you think about your own life and think about what's going on in your life, if you look around and think, actually, I'm not happy about that, I want to change that, then that's just you. That's the micro part of you. But then the macro part of you that makes up the other number part of 8 is the bigger picture. So sometimes this is how, and the reason why I'm mentioning this is because these are the things that I've tried to kind of like navigate throughout my life and work out. And that's how I've had to work out. So when things on a micro level were going kind of like screw with and maybe I wasn't too happy, then I'd look at the bigger picture and think, okay, so how is this micro experience enabling me to affect the macro experience? I hope that makes sense to people. So there's a micro and the macro. This is my little game plan. And when things were going wrong, or it felt like they were going wrong on a micro level, on a small level, just me in my life and what was going on around me, I then flipped it over into the bigger picture and just thought, okay, so if my family and the adversity that I'm experiencing at this moment in time is preparation for the bigger world, then that's okay. So what am I meant to be doing in this bigger part? So it's like we're playing two roles in our lives. And it's about the duality coming together into oneness, recognizing that we have got a world of duality, but that there's always an opposite to there's a polarity, isn't there? There's an opposite to each. So if we can try and bring those together and recognize, okay, if this is happening to me, I used to think, who else is it happening to? If this is happening to me, for what reason is this happening? And how am I meant to impact the bigger picture? So the emotional intelligent upgrading is that when I was growing up, I felt like nobody was listening. I felt like nobody heard me. And so it was like, okay, how can I impact and how can I make a bigger impact on the world? If this is happening to me, then who else is this happening to? And so that's how I became kind of like the channeler in a way, the bringer of gifts of these tools of emotional intelligence. And I just heard a report this morning and I was thinking, exactly, emotional intelligence is on the uprise. Our 2020, which is coming up within weeks, probably what we're on 60 odd weeks before it's the new year. 2020 vision is about more people recognizing and seeing much clearer what's been going on in our world, what's been going on with them. So that micro and the micro and macro, they're going to start seeing. So it's that 2020 when you think, glasses, it's a 2020 vision. So we're starting to see the balance of our world, or the imbalance that our world has been in, that as we've been just getting on with our little world, that actually there's been a bigger world and there's been a bigger impact of stuff going on. And so we're going to get 2020 vision, which is an opportunity to really see things for how they are. And that makes me feel so glad, because the tools that have been created, because I just do what I do intuitively. So intuition plays a massive part in our role in 2020. And the vision is about how do we see balance in our world and how do we impact the world. So the world is imbalanced. It's imbalanced because we are, as individuals, are imbalanced because we don't really know our own worth. We don't know our own power. And so what we're trying to do is to tip that balance. When we start communicating and listening to each other and really engaging with each other and breaking down all those barriers that have been set up in our world of illusion to pit ourselves against each other, when we break away those barriers, we start realizing, okay, so where's the solutions to all these challenges? And so that's what I've been working on this past week, which has just been incredible. There's been a massive energy shift this week. There is a sense of more peace, and there is a sense of more harmony, calmness, actually, peace and calmness that has been taking place this week, much more. So the shifting energies, the Schumann resonance, if people know anything about it, I don't know a lot about it, but all I know is it was off the scale this week and I really felt it, and you may have felt it too, which is why I'm mentioning it, because if you're feeling sometimes completely off balance and you're wondering what the heck, then know that it's that micro and macro plane. So you're maybe being affected by the bigger picture. And if you're not tuned into the bigger picture in terms of like news and things like that, because they don't really give you that information, then if you're feeling an impact and you're not sure what it is, then sometimes don't take it too personally. Bring it out into the bigger picture and just question, is this because there's something going on in the bigger picture of all this? Often when you ask that question, it's an immediate answer. Your intuition will tell you immediately. And eventually you'll just start feeling, oh wow, actually. And sometimes it can be really instant when you just ask that question, hold on, is this mine or is this somebody else's? And you'll get a feeling really, really quickly if it is somebody else's. And that's where it's about creating discernment between not judging something, but just offering it into suspense just helps to calm the spirit. So that's something else that I would encourage you to do if you're thinking, is it me or is it, that kind of that in between space. But there is a shift more now where that in between is going, that it's lessening. So this week was a massive week energetically, massive change. I've never felt to actually just stay in bed for most of the. I actually keep on going back to bed. So I kind of woke up, had some breakfast, and I thought, gosh, I felt like my spirit was outside of my body. And again, if you're resonating with this, then do press hearts and do certainly make comments underneath. It's been great. Thank you so much, everybody, as well, for the comments that people have been making this week, because once people see that actually you're not on your own with this stuff, this stuff relates to all of us, and it's a solution that all of us have to bring about. So one of the biggest ones is the intelligence, emotional intelligence of communicating with each other, and like I said, listening to each other. So 2020 is coming in really, really quickly. We are going to be achieving more visions. There's going to be a lot of unsettlement, which is happening already. And that's because people are standing up, and there's kind of like bits of revolution in many ways taking place. But for myself, I would be somebody who's a bit more calm. I wouldn't be shouting and raving, that wouldn't be my style of doing things. But it's totally understandable why people are doing things, because there is a lot of policing going on. So it's very difficult for genuine people to get their voices out there without having an agenda other than the agenda of love, other than being able to really help to unite community, people, all of us together to recognise our oneness and to keep it grounded. Because I think a lot of people are in this space of, they talk about new age, and new age is nothing more simple than we're coming into a new time of being. That's what it is. But there's this labels that's been attached to new age that are, somebody had said that they felt that I was new age. I was like, oh my gosh, labels just don't suit me at all. So I'm not a new ager. I'm just somebody who's speaking from my heart, from my soul, wanting to connect with those people who have felt that that's been a vocabulary that they've never been heard from the heart and soul. And that's all that it is. So thank you for all those that do share this on Facebook. Thank you for all those admin that approve my posts, because I'm not selling anything. All I'm doing is helping people to raise their awareness and actually helping people to sell themselves, because we're being sold all the time. So this is about how do we really raise our voices for who we are and to build strength and confidence in that. And how do we do that as highly sensitive, light workers, light beings, whatever people want to call it, way showers? How do we get our voices out there and genuinely just share from a place of love. How do we do that? And help each other to see each other. So this is about seeing. So for all those that don't approve my post, I do thank you for not approving, because you help to remind me that even in a world where we are thinking that we're all aiming for the same thing, ego has a funny way of showing itself, and sometimes ego makes that decision of, I'm not going to share your post because I want to control and police your post, and this isn't appropriate for our group. So for people who make that decision, I'm saddened by that. And at the same time, for those that are in groups where that is being done, then, raise your voice, start speaking out your, do videos in your groups and start really showing what your concerns are and what your challenges are. Because I think the post that I put up was asking people what was their biggest challenge. And not many people are asking that question. And if you're listening to this, again, what's your biggest challenge? Pop that down as well in the comment box. Because my biggest challenge right now, in many ways, is reaching genuine people who want to make an impact in the world by sharing the truth, by being vulnerable, by highlighting what their concerns are. Because when we do highlight our concerns, what we realise is actually we're not that different from each other. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Please do share my video, because they're not being shared. And the only reason for that is really just to share with people who are like-minded, people who are feeling a bit lost. Like I said, 2020 is fast approaching. I am looking to support people to become empowerment mentors, to step into their power and then teach other people to do the same. It is something that's not been done in many ways. It is about empowering you, and how many people are really fully empowering people. Thank you so much for listening. I am back tomorrow with the quantum healing ascension cards, which really just help to allow our spirit, so they really connect with our inner being, and the cards, and I do them for the macro. So this is the micro session on a Saturday, me just talking, and then the macro session is on a Sunday, which is about a global message from an ascension point of view, self-ascension, which is about really strengthening your inner being in order to step up into your full power and to find your calling in this world and to make an impact by shining your light. Thank you so much. Love all of you for watching this video. Thank you so much for your encouragement, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow with the macro part of me, with the ascension card reading of self-ascension, cards of clarity. Thank you so much. Reach out if you need to. Bye for now.